on the building. It's a true foundation. I'm holding up the blood. I'm working on the building. It's a true foundation. I'm holding up the blood. I'm working on the building. It's a true foundation. I'm holding up the blood.
Let me read a couple of the comments. We got a couple of the comments. So my mom said, hold on. Amber said, happy spouse, happy house. Both need to be happy, fulfilled, not just one person. I love that.
Agree.
I love that. I love
100%.
that. Sabrina.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Good choice. Yeah.
Sabrina said, 28 years married, 31 years together. Influence is huge.
Okay.
My wife back on here. Cordell, sir, we're on the internet.
Yeah, that's when you.
That sounded about right. That sounded about right.
Oh, man. And Sabrina again, the power of the P is the best time to talk.
Lord.
All right. And
you like, mom, we're on the internet.
Right, mom, the internet, right.
Yo, I'm so happy and on this live. I don't want to hear
Gabriella
nothing.
said,
Wow.
what is the power of the P? You got Google it.
Go to your local inbox.
Yeah, go to Yep.
Somebody will let you know in the comments.
Yeah. If you guys got any questions or comments, keep commenting. Any questions, we'll address it. So if you want to talk about influence, authority and influence, please plug it in the comments.
And while we're here, could you message us if you have anything that you'd like us to talk about in the future?
Yes.
Just so it doesn't get lost in the comments.
Yes. So please like, share and subscribe. So if you're not subscribed to the Under Construction Pod, please subscribe now. All right.
Absolutely. And the more engagement we get, the more lives we'll do. So if you're enjoying this as much as we are, we'll continue to do this, right? But we're looking for the engagement. So continue to rock with us.
Let's continue. What else we got on authority and power? So we went from, we just did marriage. What else you have?
Yeah. So what about pitfall or misuse of authority, right? When people use authority to overextend what it's meant to do, right? When the authority without influence breeds resentment is what I have in my notes.
I think that's essentially what causes that mistrust and causes the lack of influence or the discrepancy of influence when we have that power and we overuse it or we abuse it because you feel like, oh, I'm in power, I can do what I want kind of stuff. And then it kind of makes people feel helpless in a way. It makes people feel like they're not heard. It makes people feel not seen. And it's something that once you realize what you have done, you'll have to build back up. And listen, it is a lot easier to tear it down than it is to build it up. Mm-hmm. So
I would a word I would use is motive. Like the person with the authority, what is your motive?
Right.
Because if your motivation is to look out for the unit or to look out for self, like we said a few minutes ago, it'll show.
Right.
And, sometimes looking out for self works because the unit is considered in that. But if you're solely looking out for self and it's something that could be detrimental to the unit and you're not considering those that you have authority over, eventually that'll rear its ugly head.
I'm a big proponent that actions speak louder than words. So you could tell me all the good stuff you want, but I'm going to look at what you do. So and that's just how it is for me. Like I can hear you. I want to hear your opinion. My big thing about this, don't ask me for my opinion if you don't really want it. Mm-hmm. And that's what people do. People will be like, oh yeah, I want opinions. I want your objections. I want all this information. And then when you give it, people are like, okay, I heard you, but they don't want to actually use that information. I would much rather, me personally, I'd much rather you just not ask me. Just don't ask. So I think when you have that place of authority, I think you should respect that place of authority. I think you should also respect that because you have been elected or however you got to that place of authority, utilize it to the best of its abilities, but also be mindful of what can be caused based off of your actions. Because just because you have the role and you make the decisions doesn't mean that it can't bite you on the back end.
I think sometimes it comes down to the person that's under you. What is their perception?
Yes.
I think we always look at it from, me forcing my authority, but maybe their perception on authority is
Correct. Tainted.
wrong. So therefore, I'm trying to give them constructive criticism. Like, you're doing the things that a good leader does, but they don't see it that way.
Right.
So that's a tough thing to navigate through too, because you don't know how people perceive authority.
Yes.
Now that brings me to my next question. How do you balance the two in healthy leadership? How do we balance authority and influence in a healthy relationship?
Communication. So I would say just communicating with your parishioners or with your church members, like when you're in a place of power, or if with your coworker, not your coworker, excuse me, with your employees, with your family, communicating clear boundaries because you're in the place of authority, but also hearing concerns so you can try to find out, did I miss something? Did I leave something out? Did I not account for something? Like it's inappropriate. Like, my children aren't of age to drive, right? But I can imagine that at some point my kids will be driving and there will be a curfew. You're supposed to be home by X amount of clock, right? If they get their tire blows out on their way home and they get home late, I can't really hold them accountable for that. But I don't want them to feel like, oh, because I'm in this place, now I'm in trouble. Now I have to find somewhere else. Like, I have to make an excuse as to why I wasn't at home on time. You know what I'm saying? Like, just kind of executing clear boundaries and understanding why these boundaries are in place, but also that there are outliers. There are exceptions to the rule that I'm okay with if I understand what's going on. Like, the big thing that I want to be is informed. Like, if you call me, if you're on your way home, you break down, you call when you break down. Like, when I was on my way home, I got a flat tire. It's a complete. I'm disarmed, as we said before. Like, I don't feel as upset as opposed to you get home 2 hours late. Now I'm like, yo, what's going on? What happened? Where you been?
Yeah,
Because now I'm worried. You know what I'm saying?
We got a comment. Sabrina says, I was a supervisor for 10 years and workers would do because there was nothing I wouldn't do. We all hate the manager that wears the badge all the time.
Right.
And I think that's important too as a leader. If we are falling behind, are you going to jump in and do what it is that you used to do? That shows influence. I was at a job and I still work there, but where we had to work before the time, we had to work until we finished all the work.
Okay.
Some days it would be 6 hours. Some days it might be 16, right? But there were times where we were so backed up that some of the managers, they want to go home too.
Right.
So some of the managers would be like, yo, I'm getting in there and I'm going to help.
Right.
You know what it did for my morale to see one of my supervisors doing the same job that I did? It motivated me more. You know what I mean? I wanted to work for them more. We all had respect for you. You know what I mean? So I think that works in all areas of life. You know what I mean? To where don't feel like you have so much authority that you're too good to do the dirty work, Yeah. I think that's important.
That's important. And that was kind of my point. Like, when you're appointed into the space of authority, don't remember what it was like when you had the role prior to being the boss, right? Like, understanding what it felt like to have to take the direction. How the communication was effective and how the communication wasn't effective, right? And to lead from that space, right? Like, you're not barking orders. You're communicating in a way that shows respect, communicates respect. And I believe that the best leaders have been great listeners and great followers.
Yes.
Right? So understanding that, there might be somebody who's on the floor who has a good idea, right? Like, having an open door policy where you can have them come in and say, hey, I think we can up production if we did this thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And not just hearing them, right? Giving them the credit for their idea and helping them to bring that to fruition, right? That makes them feel good. That makes them feel valued. So those are some of the things where you can shift your authority into influence.
Yeah. Helen says, leader versus boss mentality.
Yes.
Going off of what Terrell just said, how does that work with you guys in a parenting respect? Now, I know you guys aren't necessarily, like, your little ones are very little.
Right.
Yours, the age range is wider. So, I feel like as they grow, no, not to the younger ones,
Right.
you come into more contact with situations where they might have a point.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean?
So-
Like, it's different, but before like middle school.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean?
I'm willing to listen to my son if they got a point.
Yep.
And I think go to what Terrell was saying, like I had to think, but then there's sometimes like, bro, I'm not hearing that. Bro, I'm not hearing that. That's when my authority kick. Bro, I'm not hearing that. You know what I mean? So it's kind of being reasonable, like but I also I always want to hear their point of view no matter what.
Right.
Even if I agree or disagree with
Correct.
it. You know what I mean? Because I want to let them have a space where they're able to voice their opinion. Y'all ever heard that, seen that part, like a clip of podcast? And I think the guy was on the Breakfast Club and he was like, the best place for a child to, he said, it's good for your children to talk back to you. Right? And he was like, here's the reason though.
Okay.
Do you want them to just follow orders
them to
all
learn
their
how to
life?
speak up.
Or
I got
do you
you.
want them to learn how to speak up in a place where it's safe for them?
Solid. I like that. Okay.
You know what I mean?
respect
So as much as I don't like my son talking back to me, it's practice for both of us. You know what I'm saying?
right,
It kind of,
sure.
There's some danger in it.
There's some danger in it,
do
too.
what you're told.
Yes.
Society
Yes.
of old.
No, I get you.
Like, so hey, get in this car. You be
Yeah.
like, okay, grown up say get in the car.
Yeah,
That's not the grown-up you listen to.
And I think there's also value in hearing where their perspective and their mindset is.
Yes.
Right? There's so often that we teach, or me and parents teach in the house, but they're spent so much time in the community, right? In school, learning from others,
Right.
from other people, right? If you give them the opportunity to share their thoughts and opinion, you get to understand, right? Because you're more mature than they are, like when they're trying to manipulate, when they're trying to get out of something, or where they're trying to be sly or sneaky, right? But you can also get an inference for, wow, he's starting to use some critical thinking.
Yeah.
He's asking questions that are making me work for the answer, right? And you can kind of learn, like, yo, my son is maturing, right? Like, he wouldn't have asked these type of questions a year ago. Like,
Like
where's
last time, he
this
was
thought
just trying
process?
to weasel out. This
Yeah.
time
Right,
he's
right.
like really dissecting the
Nah,
situation.
I get you. It gives you a level of insight. So no, I listen to my kids. I let them speak. I made the face because I think when I think of talk back, I think of like you're in trouble kind of thing. Like I don't really look at talk back as in like we're having a conversation kind of stuff. Like
Well, I think when that person said talk back, they were relating it to the children are to be seen and not heard
Yeah.
type
got you.
of mentality
Yep,
of old,
yep.
Yeah,
as
yeah.
opposed to the connotation
Right,
of the
right.
term talk back, which goes to defiant attitude.
right,
things of that
right.
nature.
Because that's what I think about. But yeah, no, I think it's important. I think it's important to gain insight because, as I stated before, I understand that I am a young parent. My kids are still young, but at some point, kids get rebellious. At some point, kids don't want to hear from their parents. They want to hear from somebody else. They want to hear from their cousins. They want to hear from their friends. They want to hear, they want to hear from people their age. And I understand that, but I also understand the danger of that.
Yeah.
So because of that, I want to know what's going on in your head. I want to know what is your thought process, and basically to correct anything that I might find that may be small now, but may lead you down the wrong path later.
But that's when we go back to that delegation. I mean, like, you can't control everything.
Right.
But it's good to know. I mean, I'll use our church for example. Like, I think that the people that have children know that there are other adults there that like they feel confident.
Takes a village.
That you know what I mean? Like that look
Right.
out, like you know what I mean? Like, oh, like if this guy says something like, yo, he's a solid guy. Like
Yep,
I know he doesn't mean them any harm. I know he's looking out. Like I know he means well, and I respect even in differences, I respect his point of view oftentimes in life. So you know what I mean? Like, you know, I always used to call it when I've worked with young people before, I would say what's important are random adults.
Okay.
Kids have a thing within them that makes them not listen to their designated adults.
Correct. Yes.
So you know what I mean? Like the random adults feel like, oh man, this guy just stopped
This
living
is
his
new.
beautiful life to give me a little cheat code.
Right.
So I like what he said. So you know that's why the guy down the street has some influence. The guy
Right.
at the barbershop has some influence. So it's
Yep.
like you try to make sure that you are cool with the barber.
Right.
You try to make sure
Right.
that you're cool with the people in the
Yeah.
neighborhood. Because like when you're not there,
They're gonna be
oh
there.
nah, that's Cordell's son.
Right.
All
Right.
Hey, all right, little man, yo, da da da. You know what I mean?
Right. All right.
It just helps you help try to curate the environment.
So absolutely. So my wife, me and my wife, we have conversations. My wife more so because I'm usually at work, but my wife has conversations with my daughters about appropriate conversations. So different conversations that adults have with children, some are appropriate and some are inappropriate. And she wants them to know the difference, because a lot of kids, to your point, they kind of get I'm trying to think. I'm thinking swooned in my head, but like basically mishandled by adults because they don't understand that this person's trying to be sneaky or this person's trying to do something that's not appropriate. But what usually happens, because realistically, this stuff happens in our lives. These stuff happens to kids. This stuff happens every day. And it's important for our kids to know the difference, to be able to tell the signs of this person's trying to be sneaky because they don't want my parent to know what they're saying. Like, or this person's trying to, like, because, it's our little secret. You know what I'm saying? Like, little stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, it sounds crazy, but that's realistically what happens. It's real, yeah. Like, it's important for us to kind of, like, because influence, we're talking about authority and influence. And in this place where I'm speaking, I, as the parent, have the authority. However, the random stranger may have the influence because they have something that they want. Maybe they have money. Maybe they have cars. Maybe they have ice cream. Like, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, sometimes it's as simple as just a glimpse.
Yeah, absolutely.
A glimpse into the life that a kid desires. Like, a kid desires independence. A kid desires to be treated like an adult.
Yes.
So, oftentimes when that older person comes and doesn't respect the "I'm an adult, you're a child" barrier, that's what like shatters the distance between the two and makes them feel like, oh, he's my friend,
right?
Like, okay, and now I can get you to, like you said, what'd you say?
I said swoon.
Swoon. Okay, like you can get duped by an adult,
right?
That is already like shattered that barrier because you're feeling a kinship there. So that's like more or less, I don't know if that's on the question list, but that's more or less on the negative side.
Correct.
Influence.
Correct.
And utilizing influence to the detriment of someone.
Correct.
Influence, whether we believe it or not, we all have influence over somebody. We might not even know we have influence. That's why it's important for us to live godly lives, because we are influencing people even though we don't even know it. So it's important that to mention that. And I think it made me think about my life, how, bro, my friends probably had a lot of my friends
absolutely
had a lot 100%. Of influence on me. Had me doing stuff just because everybody else doing it. Oh, right. I'm thinking it's cool, and you know what I mean? Like, I wish I would have thought about some of the stuff that I wish I had the mind I had now to be like, I wouldn't have done some of the dumbest stuff I've done. You know what I mean?
Peer pressure is a textbook influence.
For
straight influence.
Herd mentality as well. Everybody doing it, I'm in.
Yeah.
Fear of missing out. Like, sometimes you go to places that, and we underestimate gut instinct.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, if you look back at some of those tougher times when you were younger in your formative years, you did have a gut instinct and things didn't feel the best.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But your FOMO was stronger. Like, your fear of missing out was stronger. You're like not wanting to be a part of it. Like, you wanted, like, I don't want to look like I'm not as tough as everybody else.
Yep.
Everybody else feels nervous about this too, but they're about to do it. I'm going to do it.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, all those things, like, it just like kind of compiles against you.
I love that you said everybody else feels it, because that's so true. Everybody else feels it, and because nobody's willing to say I'm not going to do it, nobody feels comfortable being the first person to do it.
I mean, it's like poker. We're all just betting and betting and betting. Everybody's doubling down. Nobody's saying I should probably chill.
Right, but it's hard. Like, all right, you know your hands trash. Like, all right, nah, they bluffing. Like, you be in your head like, nah, he's bluffing, knowing that, all right, I really don't got nothing, even if he is bluffing. Like, and it's hard. I think it's a hard thing to call. I think it's a hard thing to fold. Yeah. To say, you know what, I'm gonna throw in this one because I understand this isn't good for me.
And the funny thing is, you don't know when there's understanding on the other side. It's funny because we were joking around when I said you wanted to see a dead body before we started. But I started thinking about let me out though.
Yep.
Like, let me out. When he said let me out the car.
That was the dopest scene in that movie to me.
But
one, because he asked, and two, because Doe let him out.
Without
question.
Right.
That's what I was saying
because he knew his boy. He's like, yo, he shouldn't have been in the car.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But that's what I was saying about you never know if there's understanding on the other side.
Right.
Of just being honest with oneself.
Yeah.
And being like, yo, this isn't for me.
Right.
Like, your man's might, like, you think all your friends are going to judge you, but it's like, one of your friends might be like, "You're right. This isn't
for you, right?
I love that.
sure.
And
Listen.
that makes me think about, I know we're about to wrap it up. We got 1 minute left, but it made me think about, and we can't get into it tonight, but the power of influence in culture. Right? Many different cultures, right? Church, and how many times people doing stuff in church that they don't want to do, but everybody else in church is doing it.
Right.
True.
Yeah.
Right? And if you don't do it, you're going to be the bad guy.
Oh, you're not saved anymore.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
or you're not cool. It's clicky. It gets
Yeah.
clicky
Yeah.
everywhere.
everywhere. So, but I do like that Boys in the Hood analogy.
Yeah,
That
for
was
sure,
dope.
for sure. So this was a dope episode, fellas. I had a lot of
Oh,
fun
yeah.
tonight. I was glad that we got.
Thank
some
you for all the feedback. Sorry
sure.
for the buffering and stuff like that. We're going to work on it. We're going to get it. We'll have it going.
Absolutely,
But I'm glad you guys were able to keep tuned in.
Absolutely. So as we close today, I'm kind of reminded that authority and influence aren't enemies. They're just different tools, right? They shape the way we think, love, lead, and serve, right? Authority might be the door that's open, but influence determines whether or not people choose to follow us through it. You know what I mean?
I like
and
that.
with that, as I always say on this podcast, keep building.
Peace.
Peace.
I'm working on the building. It's the truth.